Okay, welcome back, folks. Nordic's already here. How goes it on this rainy night? Was it last night that it rained? Yeah, we hadn't gotten rain since before the storm. And it finally rained last night, thank goodness, but I'm ready for it to not be 82 degrees. This came back from the gym and showered a little while ago and it was like 82 degrees at night. That's just way too hot. Way too hot. Not my idea of a good time. So worked on these guys a little bit this morning. Let me show you what I did in this See, here's the light. It got screwed up again. It got darkened again. I don't know why it doesn't stay at the setting that I leave it at. All right. I don't even know why I'm showing people this because it doesn't even look like the same on the... This light just has so much kickback. I'm going to call it kickback. It's just too bright. It's too bright for photos, so. Anyhow, we did some this morning. And we did some panel lining on there. And I'm pretty happy with how this is. I think I'm probably going to leave it like this. I do need to find out if this is a box or not, but I don't have to necessarily do that right this second. But it's ready to put some crosses on it. And it's your favorite vehicle. Not a bad choice. And then the Stug 3E. This is how I got it, and it's missing some things. I may make this stuff out of green stuff. I'm wondering if I've got some extra Panzer 3 tracks to put on the front of this for some additional armor, and it helps fix this. Let me get rid of this window so I can see what I'm even showing you guys. A little roughness on there. And I'm actually going to change tack a little bit. I sprayed these Dunkelgelb vehicles. I'm not going to do them for a while. We're going to go on, we're going to do the gray for a while. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I mean, like, really, really happy. So let's do some Panzer Gray, and we'll talk about some Panzer Gray things that I found out today. So let's take all of these candidates that are not Panzer Gray. They can wait. And talk about what I found out today. Yeah, I already knew this stuff, but you know. I've got other vehicles that I've got Panzer Gray. I've got this old Raffam Czech 38, which you could tell the last time I was doing this. Look what this. Let me pull out a half track too. This is a half track that I thought I was pretty proud of. And let's compare it to what the stuff looks like now and see how I've evolved as a painter. I thought this was pretty good. And it's not horrible, but this is no good. And this is, I think, the Fujimi one. And yeah, it's way too light. It's way too light and hasn't even been weathered yet. So we'll repaint this thing. But this is a Panzer Grau. Every half track I have that is a C model, or I have one that's a B. Every 251 C or B will be in dark gray. And I got about 4 of them, I think. This being one of them. Both the trucks, we're going to do the trucks in gray. We've got these trucks from the old MPC kits, which are the same as the Airfix. They're going to be gray. We've got some Pack 40s in there. They're going to be gray. The Kubelwagen's going to be gray. What else is going to be gray? Oh, the Panzer One's going to be gray. The Flammpanzer is not going to be gray. It was by the time these came out, they've already switched over to Dunkelgelb. So this guy's going to be, this is going to be yellow. You know, this is a D. This will be yellow. This is a D. This one will be yellow. This poor MPC 222. We may end up having to make a wreck out of it. It's it doesn't even have the grenade nets or anything on there. What else? Obviously, Panthers are gray. I mean, Dunkelgelb. What's wrong with me? I need more caffeine. What else is back here? Let's go to Panzer. Panzer III land. So Panzer III. I've got a Panzer III F that I bought from Brookhurst Hobbies because I figured, oh, that's one from Barbarossa. This is a long time ago, but for some reason they gave me the F that was a 37 on it. It pissed me off, and I never finished it. Well, in the whatchamacallit sale, the estate sale, I picked up another one, and I think now I got two of them. This will be repainted, and I don't really know what kind of a figure this is, but a guy that's going to be gone for sure. And we're going to try to strip this one, and we'll paint them both together. And yeah, we'll be able to strip all this shit right here, and they'll both be gray. Oh, and this one doesn't have the basket either. Maybe it's not an F. Well, the owner said it was an F on the bottom, so it's all right. Mine happens to have a basket. We can have one with and one without, but we're going to use it for Barbarossa. It doesn't have the hatches. This is a plastic figure. Oh, I'm beheading Nazis now. Oh well. This is we're gonna strip all this thing down, and we'll have two of them. But it doesn't have the hatch openings, so I'll have to make them out of styrene, which isn't a big deal. It's not really that big a deal. So it won't look perfect, but it'll be good enough for a War Games model. So this thing will be great. And then I've got 5 of these guys. I got nothing in between. I got no Panzer III Gs or Hs or a J. I got 5 of these jokers right here. And these are a die-cast model, and this is an L. And so I found out some interesting stuff about these guys right here, okay? Unfortunately, there's no way to make the hatch open at all. I did take the screws out of it, and these will be repainted. And none of them will be for Africa. They're all going to be gray. I may do a couple of them in snow, but I'm definitely going to do 3 of them in gray. And we might paint them for fall blau. So I think these will end up looking pretty good. And they will hang out with Panzer IVs that I have. Some of them. I have a 4H, it's not there. We're not talking about it. And here's another die-cast 4H. We're not talking about it either. We're not talking about the 4J either. This is I've been told the Airfix 4F2. It's a 176, so it runs a little small. Here's the Hasegawa F2, but this has the end like a G, and then the F1 that's here, it'll be gray as well, and then the Frankenpanzer, which is an Eschi. It's a late G. It's probably going to be yellow. This is probably going to be yellow. So let's put it in the yellow category. So these guys will all end up being gray. Now, an interesting thing about it that I found out is when you look at schemes for the F2s, we're just going to call this one an F2 for now, even though who knows what it is. The details are very faint on it also. I've got this stuff that you can take, the paint off plastic stuff. I don't know how well it works. I may just say the hell with it and just, look, this one's missing this one doesn't have any of the apertures at the front for the periscopes. Just like the Frankenpanzer's missing them both. This one's missing them too. All right, well, I may just spray this and just move on with it. So a lot of the F2s that went to Russia or a lot of illustrations have them with camouflage on them. Either have yellow camouflage on top of the gray, or they have green, or they have brown. So I may do one of them like that. Figure while I was having problems painting miniatures lately, I've experienced extreme miniature burnout. Didn't paint much last decade, but last 3 years I have. Flat out burned of it. Yeah, well, do what you want. I'm tired of doing 15s for a while. It's not that I'm tired of doing 15s. I want to do this shit. I want to go and look for, pictures of Panzer 3Ls and paint one in the snow. And I just, and it's kind of nice. I just jumped into doing this, and these things are turning out where I'm happy with them right off the bat. That's the whole point. Isn't this thing tiny? Jeez, this thing's tiny. I wonder how this is going to scale out compared to the other 1/72nd scale things. So we're probably going to do one of these in brown, probably brown. The yellow that's on there, I wouldn't use the Dunkelgelb because it's not out yet. So the odds are that they had some other kind of yellow paint, but I'm probably going to do it with a brown. So we'll probably be spraying a few of these in black and doing that this weekend. Because that just helps a lot. Just get that spray paint down and just start working on them. Not having to paint everywhere. But I think this guy, we're just going to move forward with it because it's very basic. It's got all kinds of shit wrong with it. But, it is a war game model. And it should work good enough. Now, here's an interesting thing. Both of these Panzer IVs, these Hasegawa Panzer IVs, the F2 and the F1, both have a spot here for extra track, but there's no track on there. So, thank you. So, I wonder if that's included in the model there somewhere. Let's go take a look at that. I can't wait to build another model either. It sounds crazy hearing myself say that. I never disliked doing it. It's just, I wanted to paint. But it's very relaxing to build the models. Until you get one of those Russian ones that I have. I have that Russian JSU 122 that is just hard. Let's leave these two guys out. See if I can find the extra tracks. And see if I can find the extra Panzer III tracks as well. And I know exactly where I'd look. Once you start working on this tank, start getting the drive through the model building for a while. It's fun. And I think I got a good balance between getting stuff done and not being super anal retentive. You have to complete things. Like these road wheels on these Panzer IVs, they're wrong, right? There's no Panzer IV that has those road wheels. They're like make-believe style. Am I going to replace them with a resin kit? Fuck no. It's just, at some point, It's just a plaything, you know? So here's the Panzer III kit. Is there an extra? Is there other extra tracks in here? Yes. But these might actually be for the Panzer IV. Yeah, I think they are for the Panzer IV. Yeah. Okay, so there's 2 links there. There's no links for the 3s, are there? No. Okay, put it in here. So I was looking through my books. I actually came across some books I didn't know I had. Some Osprey books I'd picked up. World War II fighting tactics, house-to-house fighting, street fighting. What is it? World War II street fighting tactics. There we go. Bazooka versus Panzer, Battle of the Bulge, and another book on the Shermans. And this was, these are stuff that I picked up. The illustrations of these aren't great. They're kind of faded looking, but these are ones I picked up from the book mine, which there's a chance I may go there on Saturday, and if so, I will take a video so you can see how freaking cool that place is. But it is basically a used bookstore, and yeah, they got a lot of stuff that's used, but they also have a lot of stuff that's somebody bought and never did anything with it, so it might as well be new as far as I'm concerned. Here's the model. Here's the box for the Panzer. The 2 Panzer IVs. Are there extra tracks here? And they give you all these extra shit things in here. These are like, I think this is like part of like the munitions schlepper for like the Thor mortar. So it's like something that you don't even have. Because all the stuff's here. No, there's no track on it. Look, here's the instructions. Here's the 2 pieces you put on there. And there's no track that goes on it. No spare track. How cheap. You cheap bastard. And look on the front. There's nothing shown here. You cheap bastard. Well, it doesn't mean we can't put some of that on there. We've got 2 links right there. Or 2 sections, more than 2 links. That's the old Churchill, it has no hope. Here's the Jagdpanzer IV. It has 2 links. What else can we salvage up here? I can't wait to build some of those plastic soldiers. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, the Plastic Soldier Company, there's not enough building. I can't believe I really enjoyed it. You know, it's kind of, a lot of it was like problem solving. This is the Fujimi. There's nothing there. There's actually a motorcycle to build in there. Alright, that's all we had. Alright, so if I go and put one of these tracks up here. Oh, that's a Panzer III. Yeah. Nobody be able to tell the difference, but I don't know if I want to do that. I have to sleep, have trouble sleeping at night. Why couldn't I just put one of these bolted on? It fits on there just fine. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to do that. This is the 75mm gun that was only on that vehicle. I guess the G had the same one as well. The 43 caliber one. This actually would have been a good candidate for a vehicle opening with the hatch open. Why is one? Oh, this one only has one. Gotcha. Really? There's no side. There's no side wheel stuff. No, I guess not. I guess the G had it. No. Nothing. Alright, well, I guess those guys are ready to go if I don't end up putting the Panzer IV tracks on it. How many do I have with the hatches open? None. But, you know, for my scale, you really don't want to have any of them. They're just like a little diorama. It's to have something on there. I guess that'll be my excuse to buy some more and make them with the hatches open, right? And I've got the rubber track over there somewhere on this one. No, let's do, how many do we have here? We got plenty? Yeah. All right, let's clip these, man. I'm back myself into a corner with paint and shit. No, there is a little bit of paint on here. So let's certainly have a piece of sandpaper handy where I don't have to take the whole damn thing out. There it is. Get your ass on out here. It's not very abrasive, but we don't need to be. We don't need it to be abrasive. That seemed to be the common denominator. Panzer IV F2s that went to Russia. There actually weren't that many of them made. There was only a couple hundred of them or something like that. Let's Let's look at some photograph evidence of Panzer IV F2s. Let's see. I think yeah, it's liquid. Let's see. We've got home. This is so user unfriendly to use, this Pinterest. Oh, here it is. Panzer II F2. Okay, this one has some on the front. It's like it's got a bar across it to hold it in place. I'm not going to make a damn bar. There's one without one. There's one without one. I'm going to show you this image and tell you something I would never do. Now let's see how I can pull this off. Let's add. See what image comes up here. Okay, perfect. You have French resistance fighters. We have any intention to do commando raids? I do not. This doesn't interest me. I can't be into everything. I had a friend of mine that was asking me about, oh man, I got something in my eye. He was asking me about these tanks, if it was early war, and I said, no, Barbarossa. He said something about 1940. There's lots of, I'm really, other than the desert, I am not interested in doing German land units before Barbarossa. For multiple reasons. Okay, Poland could be cool. Germans use white crosses in Poland. That's stupid. France would be interesting, but didn't last very long. And the German vehicles don't have the turret containers on them, which makes them look really weird. And I don't like those. I don't like the bump cats, the Nazi beret looking things. I hate those things. So what's that leave? Barbarossa, you know. All right, let me find this file I just downloaded, and I'll show you something interesting about it. Here it is. And this is off of Pinterest, and I'm sure it's off of something else. Okay. So here's one of the schemes for the F2. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Come on. There we go. What's interesting about this, here's something I would never do. You see the turret numbers on the side of the turret there, 924, and they're painted over the frickin' the side periscope. I would never do that. It just looks wrong. You either got to put the numbers not there or small underneath there, which most vehicles have it. I'm not putting like big numbers over that. It just looks wrong. Not a fan of the Panzer Berets. Yeah, they look stupid. You know, how can those guys be so evil if they, you know, look silly? You know, they look like shitty bakers. Shitty bakers. Evil bakers. Yeah, so that's a Panzer. That's a picture of that. If I did that color scheme, I would not use Dunkelgelb. I would use some other kind of sand color. what was that? Was that 924? Yeah, I think that's 924. Here's another one. Let's save this as well. And let's switch this picture for the other one. Yeah, I don't think it looks good. Even if you did it right, it doesn't look good. Now, the number on the back of the turret thing, I think that looks great. Okay? I'm not putting it over the periscope. It just doesn't look right. Okay, is it this one? Yeah, that's the one. All right, so let's change this to... This little pad on my laptop is not as good as a mouse, but I've got all my ports. My only gripe about this computer is that it doesn't have enough ports. Okay, here's the other drawing there. And you see there's another 924. Different paint scheme. Same with the yellow. That 431. Hey, the 431 looks a lot better. And then, if I go in here, I saved a bunch of these pictures at lunchtime. There's all kinds of free shit out there. Here's another one that looks pretty cool. I don't know why the picture's not coming up, but okay. Save image as. This one also has a small number. I like the number in white, actually. I actually like the way the red in the center of the white outline, the way it looks, but man, it's hard to pull off if you're going to hand paint it. And I may end up having to hand paint some of these. I wonder if they put the numbers on the back of the turret so when they're on the road column, the tank behind always those in front. That's as good a reason as I can think. I mean, that might not be the reason why they did it, but that should be the reason why they did it. Man, you're really thinking like a Nazi. You know, I'm just kidding. That makes sense, you know. I'm a big fan of things that make sense. Here's this one. This looks pretty cool too. Just green on it. As far as I can tell, it wasn't until 1942 the Germans started experimenting with other colors on top of the gray. I mean, they had some pre-war stuff, but pretty much 41, everything's going to be in gray all the time. You get to 42 and they start experimenting with it. I don't know if it's their experience in Africa by, you know, having to do some kind of a camouflage on top of the gray that's like, you know, why don't we try these other colors in Russia? You know, because Russia's got all kinds of different areas, but there's another one. See that 412 number? That looks pretty good, the way that's done right there. And what else do we have that's on a Panzer F2, which, by the way, what I read is they weren't called F2s for very long. They just ended up being called Gs after a while. So then just ended up being a late, early Gs. So maybe F2 is just more of a wargamer thing. Here is one that has a ridiculous number. And no, it's not 666, and I don't have a problem with that number. That'd be a pretty high number, honestly. Let's change it to... That one. Look at that number. 1233. That's a huge freaking number. A 4-digit number. That's crazy. Crazy. What Panzer Division that upside down Y symbol for? I don't recognize it. Shit. I have to grab Panzer colors. I don't remember. I think it's Panzer color too. Which is a yellow one, I think. Yep. I think that one has all the division stuff in it. Should be a color section in the center. Upside down Y with no dots. It's the 7th. It's the 7th. Where's my finger? Jeez, I can't find it. There it is. He apparently used this one in 1940 with the 3 little dots, and then they said, screw the 3 little dots. We'll just give you guys a Y. Yeah. This is a really strange one. This is actually in Italy. It's a 26th. It's like one of those Prussian grenadiers from... It's like the silhouette of a Prussian grenadier from Friedrich the Great. We'll leave this out. We'll leave that out. Okay, I got some other things. I just found this stuff today. I figured, hell, I'll share it. There's all kinds of cool shit out there. They even have... Let's take a look at this. Oh, that's at 43. Okay, never mind. What about this one here? Oh, that's Viking. Screw those guys. I'm not building SS tanks. I don't believe in the clean Wehrmacht, but I don't need to build SS tanks either. I always liked the way these looked right here. Oh, and they're both SS tanks. Screw these guys then. I'm still going to show them what you are. Save image. And they have the number over where it shouldn't be, but we're not going to do that. Because it just doesn't look right. I'm glad you agree with me. You know? How would you have read that 4-digit tank marking? Well, the one's got to be, it's got to be the 1st Tank Battalion Staff Company or something like that. It's got to be. That's why would it have a 4-digit? So if there's one that starts with a 1, there's got to be one that starts with a 2. That's the other battalion. Yeah, I don't like building the SS units. For starters, I don't have a problem playing SS in a game, but why should I go out of my way and build them? You know, then I gotta buy SS infantry, and then I gotta paint their smocks, and which, you know, actually, I'd probably be up for that challenge these days, but I wasn't before. You know those guys. You know those bastards were cruel. There's no denying that. These guys. I love these paint schemes. So we're gonna have to do a whitewash at some point, but I don't know about putting that 225 over the periscope. All right. I like how those look. Let's close that out. All right, so that's coming up this weekend. Let's see, if I put this, if I glue this on here, do I feel like I'm going to have to put a piece of something holding it back? I think so. I may just hold off on not do that. Okay, so food for thought. I'll leave the extra track links up here, and we'll leave the two Panzer IVs, the F2 and the F1 there. It's funny because when I was building 1/35th scale, one of the first vehicles I ever had was the Panzer IV-D from Tamiya, and I had it done like it was 15th Panzer Division, and it was gray, and it was very, 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 very heavily dry brushed with, you know, desert-like colors, and I thought I was really happy with how it turned out. All right, 232 armored car. Does it have a radio in it? I mean, I know that the one has the big. Looks like that 4-digit number has something to do with the Waffen SS. Oh, really? That always complicates shit. Okay, well then we don't have to worry about them then, do we? We ain't gotta worry about those bastards. But I think I'm gonna do one of the F2s and a camouflage. As a camouflage challenge. Okay, so we've got the two holes drilled for this guy. Let's look at a picture of an SDKFZ232 8 rad. And we don't want the one with the big antenna, which I actually think it looks pretty freaking cool. Does the standard one have a radio antenna sticking out? And I'm thinking it doesn't. And if it doesn't, that's fine. I won't drill one out for it. I see no, well, here's one that does have it. But then here's other ones that don't. Get the tone, which is probably dated these days, but way back when, 20 years ago or 25 years ago, this was the bomb right here. Encyclopedia of German Tanks. Peter Chamberlain and Hilary Doyle. And right. I came across, we were talking about ugly vehicles the other day, and I came across something the other day that was an ugly vehicle. I said, I'm going to tell Nordic about it. There was some vehicle that's like really ugly, and I forgot I forgot which one it was. And it was a German vehicle. And it wasn't one that we talked about the other day. All right, let's see. Half tracks, oh look, it went right to the same correct page. I don't see. This one looks like it's got a radio up here, and it's got that 5-pointed one. Let's not build that. What the hell is the description for that one? That's 734. I didn't know they made the 6 rad with the big antenna too. Pretty cool. I wonder what vehicle it was that I'm like, man, I'm gonna tell them about it. This thing's really ugly. Panzer III. Okay, so we're not going to drill out an antenna for him. Let's just do some highlighting on here, and this will be done. This will be ready for the weekend, as we need to seal this thing. We're not sealing it at night. We learned that lesson. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I have the Panzer III. I got a couple things that I have issues with. And this is just in my youth, just throwing shit in there. So I have this Panzer II that I basically painted the same way that I just did these ones now, except wherever the hell the turret went. How can the turret not be here? I didn't base it in black. I painted the whole thing this same color. I may just give this thing another dry brush and start over, and it'll probably be good to go. But here is a Panzer II-C, and I have a Panzer II-B. And this one has no round hatch. It just disappeared. It went off somewhere else. But here is the Panzer III F with a 37 millimeter, and I've got no hatch for that either. So I'm going to make a hatch. Obviously, it's not going to have a whole lot of detail to it. Here's that artillery observer thing. That one's going to be yellow. That's going to be yellow. Okay, this one, all I got to do is make a hatch for it. Top hatch out of styrene or something. And it's probably not going to be pretty, but whatever, you know. It is what it is. I just got to remember where the hell I have the styrene at. Probably have to use something very thick. I mean, honestly, just a lid. This stuff right here would probably be fine. The turret of that F2 is. That's when I moved it recently. Well, it doesn't have far to go. We'll keep it here. And we also have because normally I just finish these two vehicles. I'm not spraying in the dart. Found this. What'd you find it? What'd you find? What'd you find for me? For us. Sorry. Let's put this stuff away while I'm thinking about it. I'm really happy with the Panzer Gray with this Luftwaffe. Just to get a little bit of a blue hue. And I read a lot of stuff today about it's got blue. No, it doesn't have blue. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Well, you know, the thing is it's, you know, it's going to fade. Whatever you found, you cannot link it to me. Okay. I happen to like how it looks with a little bit of a blue tinge. Is that the correct terminology? Blue tint. I like the way that looks. It looks right. It looks correct. All right. Pretty sure this is a one-piece hatch. Pretty sure this is a two-piece hatch. And I've got the little container. Here's the instruction sheets for the F. Okay, so I have everything on there except that two-piece hatch. Okay, here's the instruction sheet for And these are MMS, which is another company that's out of business. This is the C. And the barrel to this one, I have it along with the pieces parts in a little baggie. I had all this stuff together, and then I had to finish those damn Huns, and I moved everything out of the way, and this has a 2-piece hatch. I got 3 Panzer IIIs, 3 Panzer IIs, a 2F, a C, and a B. There it is, it's falling back. Yeah, because these guys are pretty much ready to go. I just need to, I need to gloss coat them. All right. I guess I should probably put a little thing to gather all the Panzer Gray stuffs on here. Here's the 2 Airfix trucks. One of them is missing a suspension piece, and there it goes. I found it actually. The Pack 40s, of which there's 2 of them. And a 37 millimeter. And a 50. That apparently broke. Well, we may end up doing something I don't want to do, which is attaching the anti-tank guns to a stand. I kind of wanted them free floating, but I don't know if that's really practical. We need to put them on a really minimalist stand. All right, we need to put this little suspension on that. I will come across a little container here that has the Panzer II pieces here shortly. What's this? Instructions to the Achilles tank destroyer. Well, don't need that. I never owned it. My buddy had one of those. I just decided to keep the instructions. See if it's in here. Here's a Houston used to make these, I think it was a line of vehicles called Lizard's Grin. And these are these Krupp Protz trucks. And I hated these when I had the Tamiya. They had the Tamiya, the only truck that they made for the Germans was this Krupp Protz. And you couldn't ever find any pictures of them in any books of them being used. This is my sorry attempt to dry brush one of them. So we could probably use them for something else. This is, what the hell's underneath here? Here's the decals for. Honestly, I don't know where the F they went. I don't know where the F they went. All right, we're just gonna make these hatches now. That'll be our task for tonight. They're here somewhere. Just means I won't be able to do the. It's in a little bag. The one for the B. Let's just put the B up here. Let's put this suspension piece on here. If numbering more than 9 companies, the full company number was still used. For example, the second vehicle, the first platoon, or the 10th company would be tactical number 1012. Okay, so it's more than 9 companies. The SS ones, yeah. Yeah, and the vehicles that, if I remember correctly, the there was a some of the units that went to for Fall Blau. Remember, the Standard Panzer Division had two in the regiment had 2 Panzer battalions, the first and the second one. And when they went for Fall Blau, some of the units in the South, Army Group South, had a 3rd battalion added to them, and of course that meant some of the ones that were in the north, in around Rzhev and Leningrad or whatever, ended up getting cannibalized, and they only had 1. So. Yeah, that might be what the deal is there. That could very well be what it is. That's a really high number, though. So not necessarily a SS unit, but definitely a unit that that has a lot of companies in it. I was watching another thing recently. What's the name of the channel? World War II something or another. It has a very nondescript channel, but they have the whole Stalingrad thing week by week. And I was not aware that they basically captured the whole fucking city. The Germans captured the whole city. The problem is by the time they got to the point, I mean, yes, they didn't have everything, but they had like 97% or maybe even more than 90%, 97% of the city. The problem is they held on so long that when Operation Uranus went off and hit the Romanians and collapsed the edges, that was just a big old mess. But they succeeded in taking all 3 factories. I didn't know that. So I'm not a huge Stalingrad person. Like, I don't really follow it, but it was kind of neat learning about something new. The other unit that I always see long Panzer IIIs, and they look pretty cool, is the 3rd Motorized. They have a symbol that, well, I've got the book right here. It has a symbol that is basically a line with like two things through it. Is it here? No, that's another. That might be Panzer Colors 3. The 3rd Motorized. Anyhow, that one's always has pictures of their vehicles in like a snow camouflage. But it was actually, I didn't realize it was actually trapped inside the Stalingrad pocket, so it didn't make it out. Had to return for the Uranus joke. That's right. You back the dog wanted out. What kind of dog is it? Big dog, little dog? Is it a certain breed? Is it a mutt? I'm not a pet person, but I can appreciate dogs that know their place. I really can. All right. And I actually have a 3rd truck because I picked one up from the estate sale, and it's actually one of the same ones. It's already painted in yellow, but I don't want a yellow truck. West Highland Terrier. Oh, this thing's rough. Maybe a wreck. Maybe a wreck. Well, I picked it up for $1, so I figure I have a dollar's worth of use out of it. But this is like spray painted and like, you know, really rough. God, it's so much. The truck is so much bigger than the freaking Panzer II. Panzer II is just so damn little. All right. All those trucks will be gray. All right, let's go into uncharted territory here. I've got some roll styrene somewhere else, but I can't seem to find it, so this will work just fine. Only problem with this stuff is it has a high percentage of lube, meaning it's very slippery. So it may not be ideal for this, but this is basically not that big a deal. Not that big a deal. All right. And I don't know what I'm doing, okay? But we're just we're feeling this thing out. So let's cut this in a square, so it's somewhat square. And I'm going to take, this is not scientific at all, but this is like, if I can solve this, I'm going to have a good day tomorrow, because I whipped this thing in the ass. And that's why I'm doing it. I know it's not going to be bigger. We're not going to be able to get it on the first try. Right now, we're not trying to split it in half. As a matter of fact, I may not even split it in half. I may just paint the split. Again, this is to the point where it's like, okay, you either do this or you throw it away. Well, there's no point in throwing it away. That's silly. All right, let's make sure this is closed and get it out of harm's way. All right, let's see how good we are at cutting a circle. And I'm not buying a hole punch to make it perfectly round. Honestly, probably. Shit, that's better. What was that ugly vehicle, man? I should have written it down. Well, the Command Panzer 1s are ugly as shit. What is it, an STKFZ 265 or something like that? Those things are ugly as shit. All right, obviously this is much bigger than it needs to be. So let's cut it down. But that wasn't it. And we're probably going to have to do something like this when I go and put the Martyr 2 together. Martyr 2 is a pretty ugly vehicle. And I got one of those that's missing a whole bunch of parts. It's missing like the whole frame that the gun sits on. It's kind of sitting up in the air. It's a weird. It's got the bottom running gear of a Panzer II-D, I think. And Just a weird vehicle. I've never done this before. It's not true. One of the Shermans had to build half the hatch. It was missing half of the hatch, and it was one that I have open. Oh, I do have a vehicle that has an open hatch. It's the Sherman. It's a Sherman. Needs to fit inside that indent. Well, it's not going to be perfect. Like I said, we're not going to. Enter an IPMS thing with this. And then I gotta go make a second one. Because the other one also doesn't have a hatch. Foul to fit. That's a good idea once I get it closer. All right, let's. I got an idea. This actually isn't frustrating because you know what? I could stop at any time and say, "F it, I'm not going to build it." It's not like I'm being held at gunpoint. I bought one of these things. Let's use it. All right, let's find it. Should be in here. Here it is. I can quit at any time. I need to get some more ice. Get myself a refill. Be right back. Will I allow hand grenades to be chucked down that open hatch? Just jesting. I assume the rules have tanks button up or not. They do. They do. And if you're this, well, what did we figure out the other day? The game is almost real scale. So 1 inch is actually 2 meters in the game. So the Panzer III Flamme can fire 30 inches away. That's crazy. Once I get it painted, I'm going to make a big flame thing too. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Probably with pipe cleaners. And then put some smoke or something on there. That'd be pretty cool to flame shit away. What was it like? 82-second blast or something like that it had on there. They did use Schertzen on it. 6th Panzer Division had some on the Eastern Front. But mine's going to be for Italy. Because I think it looks silly with Schertzen. I'm not a huge Schertzen fan. Anyways. Especially when you find out that the reason they did Schertzen was just for anti-tank rifles. Back in the day, it was for bazookas. But, you know, opinions have changed. Oh, really? It's not going to be... Well, I could use the other one, but the other one is... All right. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I don't want to use the one that's actually, you can actually lock because it's got teeth and it'll probably indent this. All right, this isn't going to work at all. Got it. Now, is it going to get furry? Oh, because I got the wrong tank too. I saw, oh, Panzer IIIF. Okay, that's got the 50 in it. Well, I wanted to have the 50 in it. And then I got discouraged. And never did a damn thing with it. Well, we're going to do something with it now. You're going to go fight some commies. Okay, it's fairly round. I think that if I can just reduce the diameter, probably be all right. Filing, it's not going to work. It ends up making it all furry. So we'll just go around this thing a couple times. And if it's too difficult to do, maybe I'll put somebody in there because it'll be easier to. I mean, I wouldn't have. I could make it. I could keep it this size and just split it in half and put each half open on each side. And once you put a figure in there, it's fine. But I didn't really want to. I didn't really want a figure in the least glorious Panzer III that I have. because the 3Ls that I have that are die cast, I can't even put a figure in those. The hatches won't even open. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's what I get for being careless in my youth. Okay, so I can come in. Oh, man. I can come in. Really? That's what we're going to go to? Come on, I had a good method. All right, I'm going to put a little dot over here. That's the side I want to reduce. The other one's okay, the way it is. So we'll come over here. That's the side I want to reduce. Got it. This stuff is extremely slippery. Has a lot of, I call it lube in it, but what I mean is oil. All right, now let's see what we got. It's pretty freaking close. Pretty freaking close. All right, we need to work on the opposite side that's from the dot. Got it. I'll be able to kick this in outer space. Just takes a little bit of patience. It's a lot easier than going to work. Hell of a lot more fun, too. And we'll just paint the split. We can do that. Look at this. Just a tiny little bit across from that dot. I think if I take off just a little bit more, man, it almost fits in there just without even any glue. Obviously, we're going to put glue in it. I'm going to leave it alone. Look at that. It just needs to be that good. It doesn't need to be, you know, it needs to be no better than that. Whee! Now, let me go get the other Panzer III. I might as well make another hatch for it. We know we're going to need it. As soon as I find where the hell it's at. Here she is. We're going to have to drop this in something to take all this paint off. And it might be missing some parts. headlight here and a headlight there. I'm not going to worry about it. Got this dork sitting up top here. Some plastic figure. Now we grab that other thing I wasn't going to get. I actually have this stuff called orange strip, I think is what it is. It actually smells pretty good. You can apply it with a brush. It's almost like a gel, and you know, it actually doesn't smell that bad. I mean, you don't want to like, you know, breathe it in, but it's not like it's, you know, acetone or actually acetone doesn't even smell that bad. It's not like brake fluid. And we'll do some of that this weekend. We're going to grab this. This is what I was going to use to grab that thing, but it's got clamps here on the bottom, but it's got teeth, so. Still stuck in there. You Nazi bastard. These guys are always causing trouble. Alright, I'll show you. You're made of plastic, right? That's the thing is I really should buy a Dremel, but I want a Dremel. My wife got an off-brand Dremel probably 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, and it's kind of a piece of shit, but it was worth $5 or whatever she paid for it. It's way too fast. Even at the slowest setting, it's way, way, way too fast. We as modelers don't need that kind of horsepower behind it. And I know they make a thing that you can slow down the Dremel. Like, I'm usually making things out of wood or plastic or even white metal. So let me find my pin vise, which should be in here. Good thing I organized all this the other day. Couldn't tell. It's not there. Why not? Where else would I put it? Nope. I don't know why the hell it's not there. Should be. It's got no other place to go. Hidden under the effing instructions, okay? I just don't feel like spending. I haven't felt the need like I need to spend $100 on the Dremel and the thing that goes with it. Do I have any French vehicles for 1940? I do not. You can use Tamiya cement over the piece to catch the file shavings. Yeah, we gotta slow them the hell down though. They're way too fast. And honestly, they make a lot of mess too. But, you know, working with stuff this close to your fingers, man, you guys need to be careful. We only have one set of fingers. You know, and I only work on this stuff sober. You can see how much alcohol I drink. here's what we're gonna do. Can we go up one size? I got a bigger one here. Oh, that was a horrible sound. Like somebody grinding on your teeth. I don't have teeth issues to. I'm not scared of the dentist. I call it going to the spa. I usually fall asleep. What the hell is this guy made out of that was in there? Jesus. We'll have to take them all out, just enough to where that's going to catch in there. I think we got it now. Oh, this one doesn't have a turb bustle either. I'm thinking of the artillery observation one. Getting all this shit mixed up. I got too much stuff unfinished. Okay, I think that's going to be able to fit in there now. And just to prove it, let's... Okay, it doesn't look like it fits in there because there's a lot of paint and crap on here. That'll all come off. You can see some of the detail here. That's the same detail here. It's the same casting. So, just the paint's uber thick on this thing. And it's missing a machine gun. We're going to have to add a machine gun to it. Alright, well, we need another one of these. Alright. This is a project for this weekend. We'll dip it. This one's basically done. You know, this one's missing a jack. I got an extra jack floating around here. What else is missing on here? The thing for the antenna that falls, but that's not really that important. I can make do without that. And the paint is super, super thick and gloppy on here. We'll see if we can't clean some of this up. Let's get rid of, that's why we have this little vacuum cleaner. My daughter had she was cutting something and wanted to borrow this, so I said, well, let me just go over there and clean it up for you. Okay. We need another one of these. Of course, we'll have to make it a little bit smaller. It's just fine. we still got to make a hatch for the Panzer II. Which should look similar to this one. That's definitely a vehicle I don't want crew exposed. Yeah, a two-man turret's crew exposed, and guess what? Nobody's firing the gun. Ever hear of a British World War II plane, the Bolton called Paul Defiant? Yeah, they used them like in as long-range fighters, like when they sent stuff to Norway in 1940, right? They've got like a ball turret in the back. You're not saying that's a really ugly plane. I don't think it's that ugly. Maybe impractical, but I should have written it down. Because the other day, I think it was yesterday, and I'm thinking, oh, I got to tell Nordic about this ugly vehicle. Yeah, they can't all be winners, you know. I remember it being a German vehicle. Must be something obscure. I would have thought about it already. I would have remembered it. I mean, the Panzer I's kind of ugly. I mean, it kind of is. That Command Panzer I is really ugly. The one that's like almost like a podium, like pop up and give a sermon or whatever. Can't remember what it's called. A 265, I want to say. STKFZ 265 or something like that. Oh, it wasn't that. One of the planes looking at kit-wise, yeah. Didn't they, wasn't that one of the ones that was a fighter that was up towards Scotland or Yorkshire or whatever? They were up there in Battle of Britain. Kind of a cool plane. One of those planes when I was a kid that I thought was a bigger deal than it really was. You know, I thought they had more of them than. Yeah, they pretty much disappeared after Battle of Britain, I think. I think it's a cool plane. There's a lot of planes that people just don't know about. And we're talking about World War II planes, like the Skuas, the Barracudas. Just kind of oddballs. Blackburn Skuas, those sunk the Königsberg or the Karlsruhe. One of them got taken out by Skuas. The other one got torpedoed, if I remember correctly. I mean, the Germans took freaking Norway pretty quickly, but man, they paid for it with shit. I mean, they got a lot of destroyers sunk, lost 2 cruisers. I think the Karlsruhe was the one that got skewed. Skewed at Bergen? I want to say off Bergen. I don't remember. I hadn't looked at that stuff in a long time. The Blucher. The Blucher got sunk by shore torpedo batteries. What the hell are you doing bringing a ship of that displacement down a fjord? Well, won't do that again. They got a movie. They got that Norwegian movie. I've never seen it. It's called A King's Choice, and it supposedly has that battle scene in it, where the Blucher shows up and I'm guessing it's the King of Norway or whatever that's got a tough decision on whether he's gonna give in or. I haven't seen it, but I can only imagine that's what it is. think it's on Amazon. They're not going to be as good as that one you recommended, The Forgotten Battle, right? Forgotten Battle, Lost Battle. That was a great movie, man. Thanks for the recommendation on that. That's the kind of movies I like. And I really liked it that it was a three-way. Well, I didn't come out right. Well, you know what I meant. That was really cool. And actually, I really like the part where the Prince Eugen's bombarding the T-34 85s. I like that part. And they did a good job of making it look like the Prince Eugen. All CGI, I'm sure, but we're getting close. Getting close there. Yeah, Forgotten Battle was really good. And the other one that was really good was, and Mitch had bought it, and we watched it together, and I thought, it was okay. And then I rewatched it on Amazon on my own, and I really, really liked it. And that was Generation War. I thought Generation War was really, really good. And the best thing is, I forgot what happened to who in it. And when I watched it again, it was like watching a new movie. Generation War, I really like that one. I also rewatched the old German Stalingrad one, relatively recent. I wasn't as impressed with it as I'd been originally. I thought Generation War was better. Okay, now how does this one fit? We should compare it to the one that has no paint on it. Because we're going to end up stripping this, and it'll be close in diameter to this one. Ah, it's close. Yeah, we'll just paint the hat split. And I'm going to say that's like a minor miracle being able to pull it off. I think it's going to look pretty darn good, honestly. I've kicked bigger asses before. This should be a piece of cake. I like doing stuff like this because it's really empowering. You know, if it's like, I don't know what to do, well, just fucking go in and just start making stuff, you know? And, you know, if you're happy with the results, it's going to be like a big, a good feel-good moment, you know? Ass kicker of adversity. Be close? Man, we're real close. Just a little more. This is why I put this on a cardboard. If I didn't have this piece of cardboard, this cutting mat would have all kinds of nicks and scratches on it, which some people would argue that's what it's for, but I don't want to be looking at something that's quote-unquote damaged every time I'm working on my hobby. These things are expensive, and I didn't even buy this one. This one's basically no cost of my own, but I like to take care of things if I can, because I've not had a lot of things before, and, you know, there's no point in being wasteful. Look at that. Look at that. Holy freaking shit. Unbelievable. Now, we can't mount both of them because this thing needs to be citrus stripped out. And I'd almost have half of mine to go do that now, but it's freaking late. I don't want to mess with that. Kick this shit out of the park. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Now the cool thing is I came across some information that showed what vehicles had. We know what vehicles had in Barbarossa had the Czech 38s and the Czech 35s. Which ones had the Czech tanks, and they were armed with 37 millimeter guns. Czech 37 millimeter guns, but still 37 millimeter guns. But I found a website that shows all the divisions in Barbarossa that showed which ones had 37 millimeter gunned tanks. So if you look at a division that didn't have Czech tanks and it shows 37 millimeter gun tanks, then it's got to be Panzer III E's and 3Fs that were before the 50 millimeter gun. It has to be. So by doing that correlation, you know, I found out that 11th Panzer actually used these. So there's actually a scenario book from Skirmish Campaigns that focuses on, it's called, is it Ghost into the Ukraine or something like that? So I'm going to use these as the Panzer IIIs in one of the scenarios. Just makes sense, just using logic. So now the thing about it is that also some units had Panzer Is, and the units that had the Panzer IIIs didn't have the Panzer Is. So I can't use the Panzer Is along with this guy. Well, I mean I could, but you know I know better. So why would I do that? Scratch building is quite fun. I'm going to do more of that for a while to give miniatures a rest. Yeah. Yeah, do what you want, you know? It's, there's no point in... That's not going to work. We'll never get done with that. Here we go. Let's use the one that's really hard. Is it this one? There is all kinds of dust in here. Yeah, this has got like black panel lining. Screw that. That doesn't work. I found a method that works. It's pretty quick to do, and I'm happy with the results. We just have to find the other Panzer II barrel, which is in a little bag with extra pieces. It's here somewhere. And then we'll make this one, I was going to say roadworthy. We're going to make this one game-worthy. Channel for the antenna's bent here, which probably was not an uncommon thing to happen to the real one. Of course this one pops off. Okay, we'll glue that back on. At least it's not bent. All right, we need a little hatch for this guy. Right. I got any of that styrene left? Yep. All right. Let's compare size-wise how we're doing here. I know it's a little smaller. Not that much smaller. So, we're going to get crazy. Let's use this method. It seemed to work pretty well. And we're going to start with the same size as this one is, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to put a notch in it, because I'm oversizing it. Let's cut this thing out. So let's cut the corner here. Actually, probably need to do this for the initial one. Did I put it back? Damn me. So I bought these nips. I never built any models with one of those before. It was really nice just being able to do that. As a matter of fact, it was pretty handy because a lot of these models that I had that are old, they're very brittle. And I needed to not cut right next to them, or I was going to be snapping shovels and stuff like that. We've lost a lot of the plastic-like properties that a lot of these plastic pieces had. They've gotten brittle, and they haven't even been in the sun. They've just been kind of in storage. to stop short of this. And we'll come in from the other side and do the same thing. This is more scratch build than I've ever done in my life. A lot is just don't give up. Have some tools you can count on. Might only be X-Acto knife. Fingernail clippers. But I remember when I was working on stuff before, I didn't have a pin vise. Why would I have a pin vise? I was a kid, I didn't have a pin vise. Kid meaning I was like 20, you know. I think this is a one-piece hatch. To clean this up a little bit, but obviously clean it up a lot. Hey, this is my third hatch. I'm sure I can handle this. Tools are very important for model building, even miniatures, but not something a lot of people put thought into getting. Yeah. And it's one of those things that if you put them off doing a long time, if you start using tools right at the beginning of your model building, God, I know what I'm trying to say. I'm just not being very successful with it. It's like a wet palette. The sooner you get one and start using it, the cheaper it becomes because you'll use it more times. You know? If you start working on models and 20 years from now, then you buy all these tools, well, that's 20 years you could have already been using them. You know what I'm trying to say. I just can't freaking say it. And it's getting pretty late. But man, I want to finish this. Cute little thing. I know, it's going to be too big. Doesn't matter. Going to be significantly too big. All right. Man, what was that vehicle? What could it have been? Got a little sloppy there. Starting to look more like a light bulb on that side. Damn it, man. I don't think this is going to work now. Unless this is significantly bigger than it needs to be. Okay, I guess it's significantly bigger than it needs to be. Alright, in that case, we need to round off about here. But as a modeler, I want stuff that looks cool. Doesn't matter if they weren't very good in real life. One of the coolest German looking planes. No, one of the coolest German planes, I think, and it doesn't matter if they weren't any good or not, is a Messerschmitt 410. That's a good looking little plane. It's basically supposedly an improvement on a 110, and they used them to intercept bombers, and it wasn't an improvement. It's a cool looking little vehicle, though. I like it anyways. Just like my favorite American fighter is the P-40. Doesn't matter that it wasn't the best one. It's cool looking. It was the first model I ever built as a kid. It was a monogram snap tight. Monogram snap tight models. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, man, those water slide decals are difficult to use. Pfft. Piece of cake. Boy, I just keep fucking up the shape of this thing. It's because of this notch this stupid thing has. Let's cut this down. Now let's take a look at it. Probably still too big. Nope. I think it could fit in there and fit in there fairly tight. Under that lip, it's not that noticeable. Look at that. We got 3 forking hatches. Now I will take a look at it and see if it has a little something on it. I might try to add that on another point, but look at that. Bam. Blammo. And I've got the Panzer II gun for the B around here somewhere. It's in a little baggie. Now, I don't know if the B was used in Russia, but this one will be. That one will be. And I don't know where the hell it is. I don't know where the little... Let me look in here. This is a pretty reasonable place to put it on. What's this? Control figures out the butt. Stay half track. Here's something I don't have use for. I picked this thing up. This is from Johnny Lightning, and it's closer to like, doesn't say the scale, but it's a nice truck, but it's way too small. It's like 15 millimeter size. These old MPC Airfix figures, some Eschi. Okay, this is not where I put them at. Okay. No big deal. It's here, it's not far. It's just when I clear this whole area for the Huns, I'll put that stuff away. Let me look here. Nope, that's Huns. That's those decals. Camos. I'll look for it this weekend. It's here. It's nearby. I saw it up here. It can only be in so many different places. Anyhow. Yeah. So this is what we're going to work on this weekend. And starting tomorrow, I get home from work and I'm going to citrus strip this joker. Take this stuff out, and it won't look as good as this. I'm sure there'll be some crud that I can't get off of it, but it's going to look a lot better. It looks like this person added like Elmer's glue or something and put lichen for like camouflage, and we can do better than that. Okay, well, that's it for tonight. Thanks for coming by, folks. Hopefully you were entertained, and, we'll do it again tomorrow.